Hey everybody, it's Matt from You and Your Horror Movies, and welcome to episode 2 of my series being the Creature Feature Teacher for you guys. And I hope you enjoyed the first one. Like I said, I'm still working on the kinks and everything that I need to do. It's my first time doing a solo podcast. Usually I'm just the voice, now I'm doing all the work, and it's been a lot of fun. Having a good time doing this, and I hope you enjoyed my intro and the crawling eye. So with episode 2, this was kind of more of my college days when this movie came out. It aired on January of 97. Where were you in 97? Me, January, I was a freshman in college. And I remember when this movie came out, a bunch of my friends and I from college decided to go to the theater and definitely went to go see this movie because what else could, besides drinking, what else do you do? One thing was we definitely went to the movies, and this movie was great. I loved every bit of it. Bought the DVD when the DVD came out, and then of course I bought the Blu-ray. And I did not know it was based on a book, which I thought was kind of interesting. So the book, I guess, is the same title. It's called The Relic. I know they changed a couple things around in this. Supposedly, it took place in New York City, where the movie took place in Chicago. And the movie I'm talking about, of course, is The Relic. Yeah, oh boy, The Relic is one of my favorite monster movies from the 90s. Big also practical effects by Stan Winston. This movie stars Penelope Ann Miller and Tom Sizemore. Rest in peace. Yes, it was based on the book where it took place in New York City. Well, this one takes place in Chicago. I guess I was reading up on this movie, and some of the big museums didn't want this movie being made because it's going to scare the kids, you know, all that kind of stuff, or it's going to break exhibits. Chicago's like, fuck it, we'll do it. We want that there. You know, it gives them the publicity, it gives them the setup how they want, because the Chicago Museum is huge. And yeah, so this pretty much takes place, again, in 1997. In the movie, it's supposed to take place in New York, but we got Chicago, where you have a paleontologist who went to South Africa, I think it was, South America, South Africa. He visits a specific tribe, and this tribe, he finally gets involved because I guess his tribe is very seclusive, and he is welcomed into their group. Well, he's involved in a ritual, which he kind of didn't know about, but he was kind of like, all right. And they give him some kind of, I don't know, it was like a healing soup or like a remedy, or just, you know, just drink this to be part of the tribe. And pretty much he decides to box up all the leaves from this area to send them to Chicago. And of course, on the ship, he makes sure, you know, his cargo's safe. He wants to be on the ship. And of course, down the road, somehow the ship made it through to Chicago, where there's really no connective lakes or anything, but it's there, which is fine by me. That doesn't really bother me as much. And of course, everyone on the ship is dead, and bodies are all piled up. They can't figure out what happened. The paleontologist is missing. They think that maybe he has something to do with it. So the main girl, played by Penelope Ann Miller, she plays the other paleontologist, trying to figure out what's going on. Besides, she's working on her own exhibit. They're doing a kind of like a bad luck exhibit. You know, everything is unlucky. The number 13, walking under ladders. Pretty much there's all the different kinds of bad luck around the world, which is kind of neat. And they're working on this one statue too, which is kind of designing, which was really cool how they do it. But anyway, and Tom Sizemore plays the detective who is trying to figure out what's going on with all these murders, because now people are being decapitated, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck happened here. Well, of course, you know, a security guard is now found murdered in the museum, and They think it's the same guy who murdered everybody on the ship. So, of course, now they're going through, and come to find out, I'll spoil it because this is from 97, so it's an older film. I won't spoil newer ones, so the older ones are definitely getting spoiled. This creature, who has pretty much manifested through these leaves, these seeds that are on the leaves, the paleontologist who drank the special juice has now transformed himself into the Great Cathoga, which is a kind of like a god to their tribe. And it's going around pretty much, it needs to feast on the pituitary glands. That's why people are getting decapitated, because it needs the pituitary gland that's in the back of your skull. So yeah, so now this creature is running loose, and it's fucking huge. Again, Stan Winston designed this creature, and he pretty much kept it all under wraps. He didn't want anybody to see it. He did the same thing when he worked for Jurassic Park. It's the same thing. Kept everything under wraps until the final reveal of what this four-legged beast god looks like. And it looks fucking awesome. I love the look of the Cathoga in this movie. And pretty much all these people are trapped in the museum. The SWAT team comes in, and of course they're getting picked off. Like, this movie is insane. Again, I guess they were thinking this movie was going to bomb because it didn't really have big names. Tom Sizemore wasn't a big name character back in the 90s, but it actually did very well. It grossed up a ton of money, so they was excited. And they never made a sequel. There is a sequel to the book, and that is called Relic. If I can say the damn word right. Relic. Like, you know, Reliquary. I can't say the damn word. And pretty much, I never read the books, so if anybody's familiar with the books out there, let me know. I was reading stuff online how some of the characters that died in the movie are actually are actually still alive in the sequel. So we'll see how that plays off. Again, they never made a sequel to the movie. It's just a one and done. To me, I don't think they would. Definitely did not need a sequel for this. I would love to see a prequel. I would love to see how the paleontologist starts transforming into this Cathoga and starts doing the rampage on the boat. You know, all the horror on the boat. All the people are getting picked off one by one, getting decapitated. You're going to have him, you know, start turning into half a creature. Like he's still human, but now he's got scales over his hands. One hand starting to become like a hoof or something. He starts growing the giant fangs on the side. That'd be kind of cool. Kind of like a weird werewolf, but the Cathoga will be his transformation. And of course, it would end with the boat turning into port where the museum is and have him run down into the sewers where he makes his final transformation. You know, you hear a scream and everything, then like a roar. And that'll be the ending of the movie, which will lead into the first movie. Again, the practical effects are all awesome. Stan Winston did a fantastic job making this movie and doing the creature effects. They didn't have anything to, you know, look up. This was all just, there was no real Cathoga out there. There was probably no books or anything on it. Just the book itself, and of course you just have to use your imagination of what it could look like. So it's pretty much, let's start from scratch. And let's make something screen-worthy, which even though it has like 4 minutes of screen time, it looks fucking cool. And the way how it picks off people left and right was just fantastic. It has a good high body count. I love the setting in the museum, where the museum is this, you know, and it's a big party night. This is where the unveiling of the unlucky display, the bad luck or whatever you want to call it. So they're all going through the different displays. Open umbrellas, walking under ladders, black cats, the number 13, and goes to, like, you know, broken mirrors and all that shit. Then they go into like a museum of the like mummies and shit, and they go through all these different parts around the world with the deal with bad luck. And yeah, pretty cool setup. Like, again, I like that setting, how it takes place there. It's not, a normal high rise apartment or in a giant warehouse or out in the woods somewhere. Like, this is something different. It's like in a museum, which is really nice. A couple gripes that I would have on this. When the security guard gets killed in the bathroom, like when you see the Kathoga at the end of the movie, it's fucking huge. This thing looks like a tank. And was it supposed to be smaller because the area was kind of small? The bathroom stall was very small, so I guess maybe it was still growing because that's what the seeds do. They transform you and they start making you grow, which I thought was okay. I was like, all right, that's probably what you could think about. And again, the whole ship being docked into the water where there's really no waterways. But again, that's just water under the bridge. No pun intended. Then they added the ex-murderer hiding in the sewers there. Because I know they had to have someone be the scapegoat, saying, everything's all clear. Like, okay, this guy lives down in this weird, dark dungeon area. Wouldn't he have seen this thing? Because it has a lair down there. And when you see the lair, it's like covered in bones. There's like human remains everywhere. There's animal remains. And it's piles and piles of remains. You think he would have be like, all right, I'm going to hide over here for a while or whatever. But, again, you have to have that kind of scapegoat there. Make your awareness away from what's really happening and say like magicians, they have their sleight of hand where something's happening over on the left side but it's really happening on the right side. So that's probably what they were doing with the ex-killer in the catacomb area, if you want to call it. So I kind of figured, all right, you got this guy, it's crazy as all crazy. Maybe he could start saying, there's a monster down here, or like I am the monster, or like, yeah, whatever. But they just kind of throw that out there. So to make you feel like, all right, maybe he is doing it. But then they give you the reveal of this tank-looking beast of a monster. And it does some damage. It is, again, it's really big. It's about the size of probably like a truck that's just going through destroying exhibits. When it grabs certain people, it has these two front mandible jaws that like pinch you in your neck, and that's how it gets you up in the air and then like just somehow sucks your pituitary gland out probably, but it rips your head off. So pretty much that's how it feeds. And it just, of course, the pituitary gland is a very small gland, so it needs a lot more for it because it's so big. Of course, killing Rampage, that's all you got to do. So yeah, again, this the Blu-ray, if you ever think about picking up, it's pretty easy to find. It's not out of print or anything. It does have some cool special features. And again, if you like monster movies from the 90s, highly recommend it. Like, this one is a DVD Blu-ray combo. I don't remember if I made it into a combo or it did come as a combo. I know sometimes I like the movie so much, I'll turn it into a combo pack just because I have both of them. Sometimes DVD Blu-rays, you get different cuts, but I think it's all the same cut. Like, nothing is taken out or anything. All the gore is there. All the explosions, all the all the acting, like everything is there in both versions, which I like. Because, when you have to have a specific cut, you're like, now I gotta get this cut. Now I gotta get that cut. Because it adds more to it sometimes. Sometimes. We won't get into the whole Krampus movie fiasco. Still kicking myself for buying that version. But it is what it is. If you want to know why, you can ask in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to answer on why I call that a a fiasco on that release. But yeah, again, I definitely highly recommend checking out The Relic from '97. It's not a perfect movie, but it's a goddamn fun ride of a movie. If you love those kind of monster films, like no, of course I do, no brainer for me. Out of a possible 10, I do give this one a 9 out of 10 because I love it. I've saw it in the theater, bought the DVD, upgraded to the Blu-ray. If this comes out with a 4K, goddamn, I will be buying that 4K for sure. Other than that, you can check out clips online and everything. I'm still trying to figure out how to add clips because I don't want to get flagged for anything. Because I know if you add certain music, you get flagged and it gets turned off. Or if you add certain movie clips, you could get flagged. So I'm still learning how to do that. So unfortunately, there won't be any clips for this movie, but definitely go check it out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little podcast on my creature feature teacher for The Relic of 1997. Also, too, I found a little tidbit on this movie. I just remembered. The security guard that gets killed in the bathroom is the same character in Jurassic Park when the raptor comes out and grabs a guy and pulls him in. So it's the same dude. He gets killed in the beginning. He gets killed by a monster, and the monster is created by John Winston. So that's kind of funny. So yeah, a little cool little tidbit there. So guys, thank you very much for listening. If you stayed throughout, I hope you enjoyed this little tidbit information, and I hope you enjoyed, if you ever did watch this movie, I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know your thoughts. Did you like this movie? Were you kind of like on the fence on it? You think it's stupid? Let me know. Wouldn't mind hearing anything about it. All right, guys. Again, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the little podcast here on The Relic from 1997. Again, if you haven't, please like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. That is You and Your Horror Movies. I do a lot of movie reviews, upgrades, show off movies on DVD, Blu-rays, all that fun shit. All right. Anyway, without further ado, signing off. Have yourself a good one. Stay safe and keep watching movies. Peace.